First of all, thank you all for responding to the Facebook post I put out just a little bit earlier asking about live streaming, which ways you prefer. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. We will keep going with Facebook Lives, and because they seem to be working great. So we're going to stick with that. So first up on our severe weather discussion for this evening. This is the Day 2 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, highlighting all of our area in an enhanced risk for some severe weather for your day tomorrow. Now, really big enhanced risk. The wording from the Storm Prediction Center suggests that it's very possible we could see a moderate risk added in here tomorrow, or late overnight tonight or early tomorrow morning. And the primary reason being behind that, here's the tornado probabilities for tomorrow. This grazes some of our southern counties. I'll show you a zoomed in picture in a second. With the 10% tornado threat, there's also that hatched risk, which indicates the potential for some significant tornadoes, EF2 strength or greater in that. Next up is the damaging wind threat, and again, everyone's in that. That covers the entire enhanced risk. There is also the hatched area, which suggests the probability of 75 mile per hour winds or greater with the damaging winds. We're also in the hatched risk for some significant hail potential, and we're in the 30% enhanced probability for that. Basically, we don't see the hatched area for hail a whole lot. Usually, by the time the storms get to us, they're all hailed out, and all we really have to worry about is damaging wind. So this is a little bit more uncommon for us around here, at least. And the hatched area for hail usually just means potential for some large hail, larger than about 2 inches or so in diameter. If we take a closer look here closer to home, again, everyone's in that enhanced risk for some severe weather tomorrow. And there's that tornado probability that I was talking about earlier. So our southern area is basically along Route 50 and points south, is in that slightly higher probability for some, they're in the 10% probability for tornadoes, with the hatched area, again, indicating a greater than 10% chance of the potential for significant tornado out of that. Damaging winds, like I said, everyone's in the 30% hatched area, and again, significant wind gusts greater than 74 miles per hour are possible. Hail, same thing, greater than 2-inch in diameter hail possible out of these storms. I think this is generally going to be an earlier storm system than, especially if you think back to a couple Fridays ago when some of you were joining me at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning talking about some severe weather. That I think is going to be a much earlier severe weather event at least for your day on Sunday. And we'll look at timing all that here in just a second. For what it's worth, here's the Colorado State University machine learning probabilities. This is the AI models. Something of note, at least from their morning run to their afternoon run of the tornado probability, it did take out the 10% tornado threat across the area. Most of us are still in the 5%. Notice that's this kind of beige or brown area there. Most of us are still in that 5%. However, it did take away that 10% tornado probability. It keeps all of us in the enhanced or 30% probability for some hail, and then it has all of us just in a 15% chance for some damaging winds. So the AI models are suggesting maybe potentially a little bit weaker of a storm system moving in, which is something that we can all hope for as well. As we look now at our upper air networks, this is basically just showing winds about 18,000 feet above our heads. So the darker the colors, the purples and the reds especially, those are just higher pockets of winds, higher concentrations of winds. And this kind of shows us the jet stream. So as we go into midnight tonight, notice our storm system that we're going to be talking about is this little dip in the jet stream right here. And whenever we look at dips in the jet stream, especially when we're talking severe weather and in the winter, when we're talking whether it's going to have a lot of moisture or not have a lot of moisture, we look at whether this storm or whether the jet stream has a positive tilt or a negative tilt. So if we kind of draw a line here in the center of where this track or where this jet stream is, Being that it's kind of slanted from northwest to southeast, that's what we would call, or that's what we would consider more of a negative tilt, basically because it has the ability to pick up all of that warm, moist Gulf of Mexico moisture and bring it up into this region. Positive tilt, on the other hand, would be as if it is angled from northeast to southwest. You can kind of see how that would inhibit a little bit of moisture transport up into this area. So anyway, off the meteorological soapbox there. This is the map for around midnight tonight, 1 a.m. to be exact. And as we go later on into the day on Wednesday, here's now about 4 p.m., notice we do have some fairly enhanced winds up above us. That's going to help fuel that, bring in that moisture and kind of fuel some of those thunderstorms. But that does get out of here pretty quick. You notice by 7 a.m. Monday, or really even 10 a.m. Monday, that storm system will be well off to our east, and we can kind of have a day or two of break before we get into our next storm system on Wednesday. So a little bit closer to home, things that we talk about a lot include for severe weather, you gotta have three things. You gotta have moisture, you've got to have some sort of instability or some sort of juice with all this, and then finally you need some sort of firing mechanism. You need some sort of spark that sets all this into motion. So what we've got here, we've got all three of those ingredients for tomorrow. All these maps will be for about 4 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon. That's kind of the best thought right now is when these storms will start firing and moving into the area. And we've got Cape values anywhere in the 2,500 to pushing 3,000 joules per kilogram. Around here, most of the time, Cape values that you need to get some severe weather going are usually around 1,500. So we'll have plenty of instability in the atmosphere. This next map is the lifted index. Remember, this is just kind of showing how buoyant the atmosphere is, how easily warm air pockets will be able to rise through the atmosphere. Lower the number, the easier those warm air pockets are able to rise. And right ahead of these storms, we're looking at lifted index values around -8 to -9. Occasionally, you'll see a -10 around there. That's just showing that the atmosphere will be really primed for this severe weather tomorrow, at least according to the HRRR. The other thing we look at is wind shear and whether or not we'll have winds going at different speeds in different directions as you go higher up in the atmosphere. And we do see a little bit of wind shear in this, not a whole lot, but again, about 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, we do see a little bit of wind shear at the different heights there in the atmosphere. So we'll have the wind shear. The other map that I didn't have pulled up ahead of time is dew points. It's going to feel pretty muggy tomorrow afternoon here, with dew point values right ahead of the storm front, somewhere in the mid-60s. So you'll feel the mugginess as you head out the door for anything Sunday morning, and then into the afternoon as those storms begin to fire. So we've got all the ingredients in place. Let's take a look at some future radar and kind of time this out for you. I'm going to show you two different future radars and show you where we could see a little bit of discrepancies tomorrow, and we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. So anyway, here we go. We're going to pick this up at midnight tonight. Notice severe weather off to our west around the Kansas City area, down into Oklahoma overnight tonight. As we go into the future tomorrow, I think tomorrow morning looks to be okay. We could see some scattered showers, and that's going to be the spoiler to the severe weather event, if you will. If we see a fair amount of morning convection, that could inhibit some of the storms later on in the day. It could take some of that moisture out of the atmosphere for these storms. So the 3-kilometer NAM doesn't think we're going to see a whole lot of storms in the way, or any convection in the morning. Here we are at about noon on Sunday, and you can already see some storms starting to fire up off to the west near St. Louis. Here's about 1 p.m. By 2, 3 o'clock, we've got a line of storms starting to move off just to our west. And again, these could have large hail, damaging winds, and the potential for a few embedded tornadoes, although I think the best threat of those are going to stay a little bit further to the south. By 4 p.m., here's the storms really knocking through the heart of the area. 5 p.m., 6 p.m., we still have some storms lingering around. By 7, 8 o'clock, they're really pretty much out of here and impacting areas to our south and to our east. And if we go even further along, you can see once those storms are through, once that main line of storms are through, we won't really have much to worry about. So according to the NAM, our kind of heads up time tomorrow is anywhere from about 3 p.m. until say sunset or so, 8, 9 o'clock, 3 p.m. to 9 o'clock, according to the NAM. Now, something of note, here's the HRRR. And we're going to pick this up Sunday morning at about 6 a.m. And notice it wants to keep some morning convection in here. And it wants to fire some storms a little bit earlier. This is 1 p.m. It's suggesting that we could see some storms in the area. Now, if these storms fire earlier, they'll have a little bit less instability to work with. However, we do have to watch these more discrete supercells for the potential, for a little bit higher potential of a tornado threat. If the storms can stay isolated, think of storms a lot like toddlers. They really don't like to share very much. So storms that are isolated and supercells that can form in a discrete or isolated manner get to have all of that instability and all of that severe weather ingredients to themselves. And those are often the larger tornado producing storms, or they have a little bit higher chance of producing tornadoes. Whereas if storms fire and they kind of congeal into more of a line, we don't, they all have to share their energy, thereby making them not quite as strong. We could still see, large hail and damaging winds out of those, and potentially a few tornadoes, but the overall percentage is not quite as high out of those linear type supercell or linear modes of severe weather. So again, about noon on Sunday, or 1 p.m. on Sunday, as we go later on into the future, notice it pushes the severe weather. It tries to form another round closer to the 5 o'clock range, but that may stay off a little bit further to our south before those storms push out of here again by dusk or by sunset. So generally speaking, I think best timing for severe weather is anywhere from about 3 to 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, clear until about 7, 8, 9 o'clock. We'll just see how early those storms can get out of here. Again, if we see morning convection tomorrow, if we see some of those showers and maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow morning as you head out the door for any church services you might have, there is the potential that that could inhibit some severe weather. So if we see some storms in the morning, that might cut down our severe weather threat just a little bit. Although if we get a lot of clearing tomorrow around noon and in early tomorrow afternoon, that's only going to add proverbial fuel to the fire there. So stuff to keep an eye on and stuff to watch for the day tomorrow. So there we go. If they do add a moderate risk, my best guess right now is it's going to probably be in that 10% tornado threat area, closer to the Evansville area, down to Paducah, somewhere kind of in that blue highlighted area. We'll see how that all pans out. If I am still awake at 12:30 when the Storm Prediction Center releases their next outlook, I'll pass that along to you. Otherwise, it'll be tomorrow morning. Moving on from Sunday, we start to look at Wednesday being our next severe weather potential, and I'll show you a couple maps in a minute to kind of illustrate my point of I think Wednesday is going to be a bigger severe weather day than tomorrow will be. Wednesday right now is shaping up to look a lot like a couple weeks ago in the energy that is available for these storms to fire. Up on your screen is the Day 5 severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and they've got us in a fairly rare enhanced risk for the area for Wednesday and Wednesday night. Notice pretty well almost identical to same coverage areas as the enhanced risk from tomorrow, but this one's a little bit more focused, and some of the wording from the Storm Prediction Center suggests that Wednesday really could be a bigger day. The AI models, for what it's worth, see this as well. The Colorado State model, notice here on the right, that's the Storm Prediction Center model, the red being that enhanced risk. The Colorado State model suggests all the area in the potential for some significant severe weather. This little purple that's centered right over Vincennes, over to about Effingham, and just kind of right in our neck of the woods, is suggesting the potential for a moderate risk of severe weather on Wednesday. And if we look at the upper air networks, we look at that jet stream that we looked at earlier. Notice it had some of these purples and kind of some of these darker purples, but nothing really much stronger than that. If we pick up this map here at Tuesday afternoon, this is Tuesday afternoon at 1 p.m., watch how much stronger these winds are as we go into the day Wednesday. Here we are Wednesday morning at about 10 a.m., and we've got a whole lot of deeper reds, even some yellows introduced in the area. That's a much more dynamic system than the one we're looking at for tomorrow, and that's going to help bring up all of this warm Gulf of Mexico moisture, and just kind of add, especially to the wind shear, for these storms to really get going. So Wednesday, we're going to have to really watch as we go through the day, Wednesday afternoon and evening, and not to get ahead of ourselves here, because we still have to focus on the severe weather threat for tomorrow. However, Wednesday is going to be the next big day that we start talking about some severe weather. We may get 2 severe weather live streams this week. We will just see as the week progresses. 2 things I'll leave you with here at the end. First up is the rainfall forecast for the next 7 days. This takes us all the way till Friday at 1 a.m. And notice the bulk of this is going to come from the Wednesday storm system. If we back this up to Monday afternoon, or Monday morning rather, not a whole lot of rain, about a half an inch from Route 50 south, quarter of an inch to a half an inch Route 50 north. By Friday morning, though, notice a lot of us are in the 2 to 3 inch mark total, so that's another potentially 2 inches out of the storm system on Wednesday. So not only will there be a severe weather threat, but we're also talking about a fair amount of rain out of this storm system as well. So that's kind of a heads up on the precip for the next week. Last thing I'll leave you with, as we always do in our long range videos, is the Climate Prediction Center outlooks. So this is the 6 to 10 day temperature probability, again keeping us above average as we go into the first part of April. But watch here as we get the week before Easter. This will take us all the way from next Sunday, April 6th, through Saturday, April 12th. Forecasting maybe some cooler than average temperatures for your week leading up to Easter. Precip looks to stay pretty active across the area, with above average precip forecasted on the 6 to 10 day outlook, and then maybe drying out a little bit as we go to the 8 to 14 days. So if we can get through these next couple rounds of severe weather, things may start to settle down a little bit as we go into the middle of March. So let's just review everything as we kind of start to wrap this up. Severe weather threat for tomorrow. All hazards are possible. We'll see if the Storm Prediction Center upgrades us at all overnight. But as of right now, we're all in an enhanced risk for severe weather. That includes the potential primarily for some large hail, some damaging winds, both of which could be significant. And from about Route 50 points south, also includes a elevated tornado threat for your day on Sunday. Best timing there looks to be from about 3 p.m. until about 9 p.m. And it's really contingent on whether we see some storms or morning convection fire tomorrow morning. For your day on Wednesday, timing is still fuzzy at this point, but what we can tell you right now is that this does look to be a fairly significant severe weather day. As we see this storm working in, best guess right now is it'll probably be towards the afternoon and evening hours, but details on the Wednesday severe weather threat, we're going to wait for the storm to really get on shore. We've got another day or two on that. So more details on the Wednesday storm, especially as we go into Monday and Tuesday of next week. But all eyes right now are focused on this severe weather threat for tomorrow. I'll have updates tomorrow morning, maybe even a live stream tomorrow afternoon. We'll see how the storms come in. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow my Facebook page, share the Facebook page, like and follow it, all those things. Make sure we can spread the word and keep everyone informed. My goal here isn't to scare anybody. That's never the intention of the things that I put out here, but I do want you to be prepared. So it's a really great thing that we can see the state of meteorology as it is right now. We can look at these severe weather potentials several days in advance. So I've said it a couple times, don't be scared. You want to be prepared as these storms begin to move in. Full disclosure here, I am borrowing that from a YouTuber named Ryan Hall. If you watch him, straight copy of his motto there. So don't be scared, be prepared. Everything that's coming, so we can prepare for it. I'll have more updates as we go through the day tomorrow and on into early next week. So stay tuned for those, and make sure you follow the Facebook page and YouTube channel for all the latest updates.